a human being of planet Earth. So this was, I think, the first thing I ever heard of Fabric Reality, and it was amazing because I believe this one, when it first came to me, was just music, and the very first thing I remember feeling about this track was it really felt like the beginning of something, which sounds really cliche, but it really did feel like that. It felt like a kind of undiscovered musical journey that I was about to have. And you do sometimes when you make music for years now, which I have been, you do end up with pieces of music or ideas or projects which do give you that feeling. And it's quite rare, but it does happen. And this is what I think for me really sold me on the Fabric Reality concept, because I'd also received a number of other tracks within this package that Garbs had sent over, and this was the first one I played, I remember, and it gave me this feeling of this otherworldly epic Pink Floyd 2021 version. That's the kind of very basic way of explaining how this music kind of came over to me. And I could really hear elements of, kind of this kind of strange element of synthwave, synth pop, and indie and rock, and had this like almost like Oasis-y type song quality to it. Even though it didn't have any words in it, it did feel like it had this songwriter element. And I actually, because I thought those elements were there, I remember when I provided the vocal for this, I had the intention of saying, okay, well, Garbs hasn't come up with a melody for this. So I thought, okay, I'll come up with one because of what was suggested in the music. And I don't think he actually thought that a lot of this music would have vocals on it, that it would only be a few songs that would have a lyrical quality to them. So I remember our conversation, he was shocked that it worked so well. On the other side of the fence, I just thought that's what he presumed he wanted me to do, which was really funny. So that's how it's kind of been for Fabric, and this is really the kind of the prequel, if you will, to all the other amazing stuff that we've been doing. So when Garbs re-lyricked this from the original idea, it just completely came alive, and I knew that he had this idea for a long time about being this outsider on the planet, and he talks fantastically. If you check out the other interview of this track that he's done, he talks really well about this, and it just gave, I guess it gave him permission to have that within a song, and that's really what this track is all about. And this was like the birthplace of all the ideas that we had for the rest of the album, and everything came off this. So I guess this was actually a make or break situation. Looking back to it, I didn't realise it was that. And it's one of the tracks that it gets a very particular reaction from people, and you can get lost in this one. This is a very, very big piece of music, I feel. And it's amazing to see what's happened as a result of working on this particular piece of music. Because this song is really the cornerstone for everything that we've done. And looking back on it, it's quite amazing. You can see how it's kind of grown out, and all this other music has come just from working on this. And I think maybe looking back, the collaborative process really began almost by accident. And I think it came from this song and that first group of tracks that had been sent over, including A Human Being. So this one is particularly, this is a big favourite of mine, more from the perspective of what it's led to. I love this track, don't get me wrong, but it's become more than that. It's become like the song that defines the whole project. And the other one for me is which is Rosanna, is really, I think, a response to this song. It's like it's kind of brother or sister. And I think that's a really cool thing. It's really cool to have a couple of songs like that in one project, which I'm really over the moon about. And yeah, Human Being, it's just got this. I think this is like the one. This is one of the ones that people hear, and when they hear it, they think, "Wow, it's like a journey or something." And and it's been fantastic to work on because it's been, like I said, that birthplace for everything that we've gone forward to do. So yeah, that was a really fun, exciting time when that happened. That was great. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Human Being.